Welcome everybody. We are on podcast, the On Microsoft podcast, where we talk about all things Microsoft. I am your co-host, Kareem Anderson, and I am joined by the world's greatest co-host.
Arif Bacchus.
Yeah, we have another jam-packed podcast for you guys. So we're just going to kind of go off the top of things that we'll be talking about for this podcast. Starting off with um, the October 2020 update. And I mean, all of you have been asking for this. A lot of you have been asking for this. We have a special guest, and he's going to come in and talk about the update and probably some of his processes and what he does to create some amazing work on YouTube.
This is the guy everyone has asked for will be joining us. And after his segment, we have our second topic, which is Microsoft becoming a technology partner for CES 2021. And Kareem will also talk a bit more about Microsoft offices reopening following the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, and Arif will be talking about the year of Linux finally in 2020. We have Microsoft Edge going to Linux, so this is a huge step. I mean, for anybody who is open source and kind of been waiting for a browser solution on the multiple platforms.
And then, of course, we also have our weekly segment, The Week Ahead, which you won't find on any other podcast except the On podcast. All original content here, where we'll talk about some Xbox news, maybe Xbox VR news, some rumors going around, and some more console news related to Xbox Series X and Series S, and maybe even some Windows 10 news too in regards to Windows 10 dev.
Yeah, I mean, again, we got a lot of stuff for next week. It's probably going to be all gaming as we near the release of the consoles. So again, we'll touch upon that later on. But with that being said, we will get into what everyone's here for. We have our buddy Cody, who does amazing work. He's a freelancer, but does awesome work for us here on Microsoft. He's the guy behind all of those amazing videos you guys see about the Windows breakdowns and the Windows updates. And he's going to be joining us to kind of talk about that.
Of course, we're using Microsoft Teams, so we're giving Cody a ring here, and he'll be joining us any minute soon.
Yeah, and while we're waiting for him to answer, we also have just to kind of do a little bit of house cleaning. We have the winners of our Legion, our Lenovo Legion 5i gaming giveaway. We have
Hey, Cody has officially joined us.
Yeah.
Hello. Is my sound all right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wonderful.
Sounding very clear.
Excellent.
So we
as I was
just
saying,
yeah,
we have our winners. We posted a post about it. We would love any of them who participated and who won to kind of do like Cody and come join us and talk about the participation, the gifts that they got, and anything like that. So again, we congratulate everyone who participated. Congratulate the winners, and we'll be looking forward to doing another sort of giveaway probably at the beginning of next year or so. So again, stay tuned to our podcast and our Twitter accounts for more information on giveaways.
But now we officially have our YouTube star, Mr. Cody Carson, here to talk about the Windows 10 October 2020 update. So before we get into anything, maybe you want to introduce yourself and let our viewers know who you are. I'm pretty sure they already know who you are, but just say a couple words about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I am Cody here from OnMicrosoft.com. Many of you are probably aware by now. I've done videos for the website and on our YouTube channel for a couple years at this point. So yeah, I'm here today joining you guys in a podcast and ready to discuss what's new here in the Windows 10 October 2020 update.
So that's a perfect segue. Let's get started here. What is new in the October 2020 update?
The October 2020 update is sort of, a smaller update, a quality of life, small feature improvements here and there. As always, a couple of new Windows settings here, a couple of new features in Microsoft Edge there. Of course, one of the big ones being is that the new Microsoft Edge is now officially going to be the default web browser that's pre-installed in Windows 10. It's also coming with a couple of new features, such as the new website tabs appearing as individual results in the Alt tab menu. Then there's, of course, the new Start menu design, which I think is something that the most people are most excited about with this update. Of course, where they have the live tiles, which have been stripped of their solid color blocks and moved into more of like a acrylic transparent design, which I think complements the new icons a lot better. A couple other things here and there, the notifications. There's they changed a couple of the ways that the icons appear. There's a couple of new buttons that might appear on them. But beyond that, there's really not too much to look on. What else is there? I think that's most of the big features.
So do you have a one-sentence summary? Kareem and I review Surface products, and we try to be quick and to the point. So if you could summarize the October 2020 update in a couple of words, how would you describe it?
I guess I would describe it as it just looks a little better this time around.
You have anything to ask, Cody, Kareem?
Yeah, I mean, again, as Arif kind of alludes to, we try to get to the point of it. So again, with what you're just saying, is it worth hitting the update restart button for most people?
I think this is one of those updates that most people, if you really, really want those new live tiles, maybe you can look out for it. But it's something that'll just automatically, of course, install on your PC sometime in the next few weeks or month or however their release schedule works out. So I guess it just depends on what your priorities are. I think for most people, it probably won't be the most important update for them, though.
Will it make your computer explode?
Oh, I cannot verify that with 100% certainty, but on the devices that I have tested this update on, it has not yet caused them to explode.
Of
Well,
course.
that kind of leads me into my next question, and I just without prying too far into it, what is your process for kind of doing the reviews? I know we write about it, and we will review it on our devices. We kind of follow the breadcrumbs left by the insiders when they do their blog posts. Kind of go look for those things. Do you have a sort of similar process, or do you have a checklist of your own where I notice this is new, plus whatever they add as well?
Yeah, I'd say my process for investigating the new, Windows features is pretty similar to what you guys do when writing articles about them. Following the news that comes along in the Windows Insider program, as well as seeing what some other Windows insiders have discovered, as well as things that I run into myself when I do get the update.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that means that you do use Windows. I mean, there are a lot of people who are sort of posers, so to speak, where they'll go look at the blog, see the checklist, and then make a video based on that, and then they hop on their Macs to kind of do all the editing and everything else, and then should decide until the next update.
Yeah, I think we all are familiar with some people who are like that, but yeah, I do use Windows on my machines as my primary OS.
Cool.
So what's your favorite feature in this update? Because you just said you use Windows every day, like both myself and Kareem.
My favorite feature in this update, I would have to say probably it's either the new high refresh rate setting that they added into the Windows setting from the control panel. I don't happen to have a monitor that supports that, but I know if I did, that would probably be something that I would be excited about.
I'm going to talk to Lenovo and see if I can get you set up with something. You hear that, Lenovo? I'm going to be calling you guys soon.
All right. That'd be epic.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, of this update?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been kind of wanting to Arif about not seeing anything big, and being as an insider, I've kind of seen some of these things already. So I don't really have a favorite right now. It's been working, which is great. I guess my favorite feature is that it's not broken. That it doesn't really ruin my workflow for anything. So that's mine. It's very stable as far as I've been using it across multiple devices.
I really love that new start menu. It's just it creates a more consistent look in Windows. Everything just looks a bit more modern now. Personally, I think they're getting ready for their Windows 10X launch or whenever Windows 10X is coming around, because everything just looks more consistent. You don't have an ugly tile next to next to a clean tile. It's just something that really cleans up Windows 10 a bit.
Yeah, it sort of brings it all into alignment. There was a little bit of an awkward phase between when they started updating their new icons,
Yeah,
but like the
yeah.
solid colors were part of like the old Metro UI design. So of course, yeah, like you said, this sort of ties it all together.
Anything
And then
else?
I have a couple questions that are just more personality kind of things, and some stuff that I've seen our commenters like kind of asked about. Like, do you do voiceover recording VO in any sort? Because you have an amazing voice, and I think people are like soothed by our videos that you produce, not only by the visuals, which I'll ask about, but the voice itself. So, do you do any VO?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I do just the voiceovers for on Microsoft.com. I don't do really much of anything else outside of that. So, yeah.
You should consider it.
Maybe.
You could be like,
he has a radio voice for sure.
Yeah. I've heard that a couple of times before. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the next question was mostly, since you were saying that you use Windows, about the video process that you go through. Because I am again floored by the animations, the way you zoom in and out, the interface you're using to kind of, give everyone, you're not just shooting from what I can tell, an over-the-shoulder camera at a screen. It seems like you're, I don't know, using magic of some sort to like really get in and make people feel like they're, using the operating system alongside you as you kind of go through the process of highlighting the updates.
He has a Hollywood setup.
Yeah, so I don't want to take away your magic, but just to kind of, what kind of software do you use, and what's your setup for the process?
Well, I'd say when I edit my videos, I use OBS Studio primarily. I think that's a pretty popular program that a lot of people use just because it's very flexible in how it works. And I just go from there along with my script that I, of course, write beforehand, writing the videos. I don't always stick 100% to that, but it definitely does help me keep my flow going with what I need to talk about and what, from one topic to the next. But yeah, and then of course there's the post process, like you mentioned, with like adding the little fancy zoom in and out animations, which is something that I have sort of experimented with on and off as I've made videos over time. I do take in a lot of user feedback from comments that I receive on the videos. Of course, people telling me they don't like this or they do like that and have used that, and that has definitely influenced how I've edited things.
Again, A+ job, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think it's amazing, and that's what I look forward to when I see updates, not necessarily the features themselves. And I'm like, what is Cody gonna do with this video?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people really appreciate the 60 frames per second that you make sure you put in. Yeah.
That's what I have for you. Also, just in general, like, what do you like doing? Is it video production, or are you more into something else and you just happen to be good at this?
I'm not actually sure. It's been such a long time since I started doing like editing videos and whatnot that I don't remember exactly where that came from. But yeah, it is something that I enjoy doing on my free time. But I don't invest too much of my time in it. Like I said, I do the video work for on Microsoft, and here and there maybe a couple personal projects, but beyond that, that's as much as I do for video work.
Are you considering doing video work for like Xbox? I know we're gonna have a ton of stuff probably from the end of this quarter going into like next summer as far as console stuff's concerned.
He did push out a video about Minecraft a couple of months ago.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I mean, like, I know that the update stuff I think fantastic and spectacular at, but I just know that there's a hunger and an audience for Xbox stuff too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Xbox, the whole gaming community, definitely. There's a big audience for that stuff. But I guess the problem with that for me would be that I actually don't own an Xbox as of right now. I never have, actually. So that would be a new experience for me to delve into for sure. But I know like you said, there probably would be quite a few people interested. But I'm sure we have other people that on this team as well that could for sure contribute content. And Xbox says, yeah.
Yeah. Again, I will see. I have some people at Microsoft I can kind of give an elbow to see if we can, fix that situation about your console.
Little nudge, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And again, this is more just quick personality. I wanted to kind of give everyone an air of what you are about. If you play games or play a game, do you have one that you would like to jump into?
As in like games that I would like to jump
on your
into,
phone,
or
PC, something you might be looking forward to on the Xbox or PlayStation if you're a PlayStation guy.
I don't know, actually. I haven't been watching the new game titles too closely, although I do think it will be interesting to see how exactly the new consoles will perform when they finally get launched to the greater public. The new Xbox, what is it? Xbox X Series X?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Series
It's
X.
I make that mistake every week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and shorten it to letters just so excess. No, that doesn't even work. Yeah, that's just too many.
Too many X's at this point. Yeah.
Do you play anything on your phone? Do you play anything on the PC?
Well, Arif mentioned briefly just a moment ago about the Minecraft videos that I released a little while back about those updates. That's a game that I do frequent quite often on my PC.
Cool.
So, yeah, and with Windows, the PC is my primary electronic device. So,
Well, now people know. Hey, Minecraft might be a place to find you.
yeah, for sure.
Any final thoughts, or Kareem?
No, I mean, again, I think the world of you, and so if there's anything that you'd like to say, Cody, as far as expanding your audience, as far as your personal work, anything like that, go right ahead. Let people know where they can find you, where they can find more of your work that isn't just on Microsoft. We'd love to again get you as much exposure for the awesome work you do.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having me on tonight. It was really interesting having this talk with you guys about the update and as some of my personal hobbies as well. That was really nice.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know too. This I think is the first time we've sort of met face to virtual face.
Yeah,
we talk in the chat a lot, but
yeah. It's first time for me as well being in a podcast, so it's definitely a very interesting experience.
Silver lining of quarantine, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
First of many more to come.
Yeah. We would love to have you back anytime you would bless us with your presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Cody, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah.
Peace out.
All right,
Take it
later.
easy, man. Have a great night.
It's just us now.
I know, boring.
Boring. We lost our star.
I know. We're probably gonna see our followers drop too, but hey, who knows?
All right, pick us up where we left off. We have some CES news to talk about, right?
I'm gonna try to make this exciting, even though CES has arguably not been exciting for a while. They just announced that they are going to be doing a full-on virtual event this time around for 2021, and part of that announcement is that they have partnered with, and this is CTA, which is the company that basically produces CES. So it's even bigger than that they're partnering with Microsoft as their basically digital platform. I think specifically saying that they've chosen Microsoft and Microsoft's cloud and cloud solutions, as well as hardware, to kind of power CES for 2021, which is huge because, again, you would think with Apple having dropped out of CES, I don't know, 20 years ago or something like that, close to that.
But they do like putting up billboards.
Yeah, I mean, they like to troll. They've been trolling for quite a while. But with them out of the way, Microsoft being probably one of the biggest known quantities at that event, you would have thought some type of partnership between the two would have already grown. But this is more of an official back end kind of thing, and I've kind of wrote about this in more detail and given some examples of how Microsoft has worked its way up to this rather big event. I mean, it's consumer electronics, so they're going to be using a ton of bandwidth. They're going to be using a ton of
Azure cloud,
to basically run this entire thing. And my example is just kind of back what Microsoft's play is in this is that they've already helped with the NBA playoffs and finals to kind of bring user engagement and a video conferencing aspect to it that made people kind of feel in part like they were there. They're working with the NFL to kind of do a very similar thing. They've worked with iHeartRadio for a bunch of streaming stuff. So the technology's there. Obviously, the money's there. So we'll have to see how this is put on. Microsoft themselves have also put out a dozen or so virtual events that have gone on with relatively no issues. So we'll see what CES has in store for Microsoft going forward.
Perhaps we might see Surface in VR. I mean, we're going to talk about Xbox VR in a bit. So maybe you put on your Windows mixed reality headset and all of a sudden you're in the world with a whole bunch of virtual surfaces on the table where you can reach out and touch them and start virtually press A to boot up Surface, press B to start inking with your Surface pen.
That would be, I mean, that would finally give the VR aspect that Microsoft has kind of, I think, put to the back burner. It finally give it a forefront. They said mixed reality, and that seemed to be an umbrella, but they were really pushing AR. Now, as you said, VR would probably, in the era of quarantine, be perfect for people. People aren't going out to experience these things, so you bring it to them. But yeah,
that's good. You mentioned quarantine, so move us to this talk about Microsoft reopening offices.
Segway. This is what we got. Microsoft is also late last week, come out and said that they were going to officially shut their offices down, and that is, I believe, in the U.S. Right now. I'm not sure if that is for international markets, but I mean, it's probably going to be a case-by-case basis as a lot of countries are going into their second spike, so to speak. So, it'll be, they check with your local office if you work at Microsoft. But they are shutting down the offices until, I think they said the earliest is going to be summer of 2021. And what they're doing is they're allowing an extended work from home for all their employees. Again, employees need to check with their supervisors, but supervisors are given the power to allot time and dole out different versions of work from home for people. There will still be some people who need to go in the Microsoft world that still need to go in. Mainly people in manufacturing, some other in-person, in contact person stuff. People need to go into, but it's a big get for Microsoft to continue this. They're a huge company with tons of offices, just across the U.S. alone. And so they'll be taking, what you consider a relative hit when not having those offices filled with actual people until the summer of 2021.
So something that people really use in offices a lot nowadays is Microsoft Edge. And I have something to say about Edge, which is that I think it was a couple days ago, Microsoft announced that Edge Dev is now on Linux. So that makes it official. Edge is now running on all the major platforms. You have it on Windows, you have it on Mac, you have it on iOS, you have it on Android, and now you also have it on Linux.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, it's the year of the Linux finally. It just happened in 2020. No, again, all joking aside, which is a poor joke, it is on Linux, and it's just another testament to Microsoft's new budding relationship with open source. Again, they're not they haven't been the greatest arbiters in the past of open source. They're seem to be making amends with the community, and this is just another one of those olive branches, I think.
As people like to say, it's not your daddy's Microsoft.
No, and even if it were, the business model here is, again, just to make sure that I think Microsoft realizes that its enterprise customers are split between Windows and open source, if not more open source.
It's also about
So
developers.
this just makes more business sense.
It's also about developers too, specifically in their blog post when they announced Edge Dev for Linux. They mentioned that it's specifically for designed for web developers who work on Linux. They want to provide the same web platform and developer tools for Mac OS and Windows, but on Linux. So they specifically said it's so developers can, and I quote, build and test in the preferred environment and B, confident in the experience customers will have on other devices. So again, it's Microsoft expanding out and bringing the best of Microsoft to basically another platform.
Yeah, I mean, they again, they're going to where the customers have been and have been asking for a while now. You know, the pride that I guess that Ballmer had prior to this is no longer there, and it just makes business sense to make sure that you know you're providing the open source community, especially a lot of them running server stuff, with the tools they need, because then they'll sort of migrate. Is the thought process.
And speaking of developers, you guys probably heard of our talks about PWAs in the last podcast. And after rolling out the new Microsoft Edge, like Cody said in the October 2020 update, Microsoft is now allowing app developers to submit Chromium-based progressive web apps to the Microsoft Store. So again, they're betting big on PWAs. I think so.
Yeah, I think this is another one of those future forward OS things that we're starting to see. I mean, we saw them kind of slip up and put the PWA Office stuff on, and people kind of freaked out. But this is a way for them to start kind of building out the library and meeting devs again where they're at versus where they would like to be. UWP was kind of a long shot. It's still around, not gone, and you know they preferred for performance reasons to be in existence. But you know if they can meet developers with PWAs and load up a Microsoft like a Windows 10s full of PWAs, and that be enough for people to go out and buy, you know, a Surface Go 2 or a Surface Laptop Go or something like that, and have everything they need without any of that direct coding on the actual hardware. It just makes that OS that much better and that much more competitive with against Chrome OS.
And again, another benefit of these PWAs, like Microsoft explained in their announcement blog post for this news, is that PWAs update automatically. I know our friend Brad, who covers Xbox news, he also likes writing about the Twitter PWA from time to time. It's always picking up new features on Windows 10. So that's another benefit to PWAs being in the Microsoft Store, is that these developers are able to push out more features more frequently.
Yeah, and keep them up to date. I think Twitter's one of them. I believe Instagram, the new Instagram that's in the Windows Store, is sort of the same way. I mean, we're getting people who are using the Instagram app are getting updates, DM, you know, direct messaging updates, and all the other things that come to the platform. And I believe it's probably the only desktop-based Instagram app out there right now. So again, a testament to PWA. We just need more developers to kind of invest their time in it and build some features around it.
All right, and enough about Windows. Now we're going to talk Xbox for our week ahead segment.
Yeah, we got some conspiracy theories for some sleuths out there. And that being the biggest one is that Xbox VR is still a thing. I know that, you know, again, when we talked about mixed reality, there was a portion of VR that was back in, you know, kind of going to be brought for the Xbox One X. And it didn't seem to materialize, but there have been some people who have, I believe you have part of this information about finding some code through Microsoft Flight Simulator. You probably speak better to it than I
Yeah, I
can.
mean, I play the game frequently. You've probably seen me tweet about it, but I'm not a data miner. But some code miners play the game, they look through the data code, and there's code references in Microsoft Flight Simulator to PC VR and Scarlet VR. So if you pay attention to Microsoft's code names, you should know that Scarlet is the code name for the Xbox One Series X. So these weird tinfoil hat people, and pretty much a
They're
lot of
not
them.
weird. They just they're very eccentric. And for all of you
and
tinfoil
a,
hat
and a,
people that are listening, we love
and
you.
and a lot of the media and a lot of these blogs, ourselves included, uh, predicted or are predicting that, hey, maybe this means that Microsoft is not giving up on Xbox VR. Maybe it's something that could be coming to the Series X in a future update or down the line. I mean, we had a conversation before this podcast started, me and Kareem, and we were saying that the Series X is a pretty powerful console.
Yeah, it has all of the teraflops that Microsoft keeps talking about. So if the Xbox One X was going to be prepped for VR, and for whatever reasons, business decisions never materialized, but it had the headroom to do so. I can only imagine that the Series X will have enough, again, headroom built in. It's basically a PC to kind of run this stuff. I think, again, with the pandemic as it is, VR is more palatable than AR, since we're not really going out and kind of engaging in the world that AR needs. VR seems to be you sit back at home, stay safe, gaming experience, or just in general, if like you mentioned, you bring CS into an Xbox Series X headset, you sit back and you get that, like if you're on the showroom floor itself and you don't have to come home with the flu. Or you can go visit Paris, or you can go visit Italy. I know that some of those places are going to be locked down soon, but you could be there virtually and experience that kind of stuff just to get out of your own house.
So speaking of that, it's today is October 24th, the day we're filming the podcast, and the Series X and the S are scheduled to come out on November 10th. And you guys probably saw it on Twitter, but Microsoft apparently sent fridges to people to
Not
unbox.
us.
Not us, yeah, we didn't get one, but
In all
apparently.
honesty, though, that fridge wouldn't have fit in my house. I think it's ginormous. I saw it in scale because I know they sent one to Snoop Dogg, and I don't know where he kind of showcased it at. It was in some kind of weird room where I couldn't get scale, but I believe Justine got one, and you see it in her garage. I think she even admits that it's not going to fit in her house, but it's an amazing thing. I think Dave, one of our other writers, was mentioning that Microsoft might get into the business of making fridges. So it's done pretty well.
Who knows? But point is, November 10th is coming up, which is the launch day for these new consoles. So we think maybe down the line you could see some more surprises from Microsoft in the Xbox side of things, because who would have thought that they would have sent fridges to people? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, it goes to show you that they are listening, and they are listening to social media, because the Xbox fridge meme has been around since they showed off the piece of hardware itself. So they know that people are calling it a fridge. Now it's going to be up to PlayStation to send out routers to people to kind of keep up.
Giant routers.
Yeah, or send hotels made in Dubai out to people.
All right, and then you yourself have something to talk about Surface side of news for that's coming up in the week if ahead.
Yeah. In the week ahead, I'll be reviewing the Surface Laptop Go. I know that you did a full-on review, so mine is going to be more catered towards pairing it against the Surface Go 2, because I feel like that's where its competition is. As much as Microsoft cut corners to kind of make it a small Surface laptop, I believe it kind of works in that world against the Surface Go 2, where you're pitching small portable devices under $600, and they both kind of sit in that area, and we'll see how what compromises were made and which one is a better device.
All around, it's a pretty good device, though, I think.
I mean, from what I've read from you and from what I read from the reviews, it seems really good. I was enamored with the Go 2. I think it's more flexible than the laptop, but I haven't gotten my hands on it yet. We'll see how the power goes, because I got one of the top of the line Go 2, so it'll probably match a mid-range offer depending on what I get. But I think it's just in competition if you're looking for service devices, what to go with, especially for your valued $600.
And Kareem is gonna review Surface this coming weeks, and I myself am planning to talk a little bit more about Microsoft on Linux. You guys, we mentioned the Edge news this week, well, in the show today, but I'm also planning to write a piece this week, probably Monday or Tuesday, which you guys should keep an eye out about how exactly can you be a Microsoft fan on Linux? Is it possible?
Ooh, I know that's gonna catch fire, because there are a lot of jilted Linux people out there still, and there's some new people that probably don't care either way. But it should be interesting nonetheless. Like I said, I think the enterprise world has already kind of found its balance between Windows and Linux, and again, this is evident by Microsoft's shift towards open source and kind of embracing that entire area. So for consumers like you and I, it'll be interesting to see how Linux takes off.
And I think that is our last topic on our list.
Yeah, I believe so. I can't think of anything else right now, but if I can, or if I do, I'll write about it.
Of course, yeah, we're always active on Microsoft.
Oh, and on Twitter as well. So keep an eye on us for there.
Yes, you could follow Kareem. He's at Mindhead1, and I am at ABACJordan.
Yeah, I'm looking for Mindhead, the original. He's just sitting on the account. I'm looking at you, buddy.
Any final thoughts to add? Any messages for our viewers?
No, I am, again, pick your favorite games because your consoles are coming up. Stay inside, stay safe, and I wish to see you guys all again next week.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and we hope you have a beautiful week ahead.